Small town USA in the 1950s. You have a bustling downtown filled with local shops, close-knit neighborhoods, and in some of those small towns, steel mills.
It represents a typical steel mill town from the 1940s, 1950s.
This train display was created by the Western Reserve Modular Railroad Club and donated to the Youngstown Historical Center of Industry and Labor.
It's a bunch of retired gentlemen who have a real fascination with model trains and recreating towns.
Site manager Marcel Wilson says while the display is not a replica of Youngstown or any other real city for that matter, it is indicative of steel towns in general at that time.
It's really well made and it's very intricate. You can tell that the men spent quite a bit of time on it and a lot of attention to getting it just right to be representative of a town with a steel mill operating nearby.
The trains that run through the town are models of those that would have been importing and exporting goods to steel mills, including the B&O, the Pittsburgh and Lake Erie, and the Erie-Lackawanna.
When the steel mills were in their heyday in the 40s and 50s, rail was the main way that they would get their resources in and ship things out, especially in an area like Youngstown or the Mahoning Valley where we don't have access to the ocean, and so the only way we're going to be able to bring resources in and ship out finished product is through rail or possibly truck. This is always a favorite with children as well as adults. We have a lot of grandparents bring their children in to take a look at it, and it reminds them of yesterday, yesteryear. It's one of our most popular exhibits.
The display is a permanent fixture at the museum, but in the lobby is a temporary one called Steeltown Goes to War, in honor of the anniversary of the end of World War I.
It shows local contributions of people, workers, men who had worked at steel mills and resigned so that they could enlist in the military and fight during World War I and then World War II. We also have a really cool exhibit of photographs never seen before of Marlene Dietrich when she visited Youngstown for a war bond program.
The World War I exhibit features artifacts on loan from the Ohio History Connection, as well as local residents in the area.
We have a service flag. We have a World War I uniform. We also have some World War I textbooks for soldiers.
In the World War II exhibit, you can find this Navy uniform.
They have Liberty cuffs, which help distinguish the men when they were on shore leave.
And this E-flag that was earned by local war production companies by meeting production and safety goals.
What's really amazing, there were over 5,000 companies in the country that did war production, but only about 2% of them earned the E Award, and many of those were here in Youngstown. Youngstown and the steel mills were integral in helping fight and win the war, because the message at the time was, we need people on the front lines as well as people here building the steel that's necessary to give the soldiers the equipment that they need so that they can fight and win.
The Steeltown Goes to War exhibit will be on display until June. You can visit the Youngstown Historical Center of Industry and Labor Wednesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Saturday from noon to 4 p.m.
We like to acknowledge the contributions that steelworkers, local men and women made to our freedom here in the Valley.